Good afternoon, traders. Hope we're all doing well. It's another beautiful day and another step closer to Christmas. So, looking forward to those Christmas prezzies coming through. So, hope we're all doing well. Looking forward to that Christmas day. It's been a quite a kind of day actually for me. Not too bad. The markets are quieting down a bit, so you probably notice that stepping up into Christmas. And I guess if you don't know, just remember this is our last one for the year, last stream for the year. We're going to be closing down, obviously, between Chrissy and New Year. So we'll get back into it at the start of New Year and just see how the market went through that quiet period. So still kicking higher though, which is nice. ASX, it's like we spoke about quite a while ago now, the good old Christmas rally, and I think today just ticked above 5,600. Don't know exactly where we are, but we'll take a look at that soon. Look at a couple of charts. So the topic of the day is just really continuing on from what we spoke about yesterday. Some stocks we're looking at. We've got a few here just on a watch list that we've got an eye on coming into Christmas and seeing what happens going into the new year. But we'll take a look at those. And like I said yesterday, if anyone's got anything you want to look at, just send it through to. You can either send it through to support@tradesetup.com.au, or just put it on the chat. Um, if you can't make it any time, but you still want to send something through, just send it through to the email address, and then we'll take a look at it. Now there was something can't remember looked at yesterday that I actually missed. I can't remember the stock code, so if you just send that through again, that'd be great, and we can chat about that later on today. Let's obviously got our trade setup live stream page there. You join us on Twitter if you go to trade_setup, or join us on Facebook, linking to us on Facebook, or just subscribe through the YouTube channel. All right. So general advice warning, as per usual, just down the bottom. Just take a quick read through that. We don't give personal advice or specific advice or anything like that. It's just all general in nature. So any questions will just be answered as best we can. Alrighty, let's jump into it now, guys. Let's just take a look at the markets. So you want to have a bit of a play around at the markets lately? I mean, we've got some positions on at the moment, some alerts going. Some are going really well, but there's some that are just struggling. It's just a bit of a mixed market at the moment, a bit of a mixed bag. I think it is heading higher. The banks are doing all right. We've spoken about that in the past, and we'll have another look at those today. The banks, they're looking quite good actually. So they're kicking a bit high. We've got Westpac's at 32.63. Looking at that, it's just kicked up today. CBA is strong today as well, up over 1%. So they're all going quite well. Some of these that we've got Collins Food. That's just kicked along really nice. We've tightened right up because you can see, anyone can see that on a weekly basis is quite stretched. It's getting extended in that overbought territory. It's looking strong still, and there's no reason to get out of it, but just let it run. But we've tightened up just to see if it does pull back. I expect a decent correction anyway. So we're happy to take the gains on that one. Just keep an eye on it, see if anything else happens down the track. What else have we got here? We got Brain Chip, one of Dav's favourites. He likes the name, that's all. That's doing well. That's kicked on. We want to see it get through 28 and start attacking at that 27, start attacking the 30 to 31 highs and just see if it can kick on from there. Still got a fair bit. I mean, that's nowhere near overbought at the moment. That's heading the right way. Everything's looking good. We want to see some of this price action, just that extension spike higher. That would be excellent. So we'll see what happens over that in the next few days and through Christmas. What else? I'm just trying to remember. We've got Galaxy. Yeah, it looks like it's borderline to roll over at the moment. We've tightened up on that one too because we've taken half off around 46.5. We've got the rest of it an exit price around 48.5 or thereabouts. So if it just tips down, look, we could get chipped out and it can go, but it has gone quite strong. And on both the weekly and the daily, it's getting extended. And look at that on the weekly too, looking good. ASX itself has ticked up. We did expect it to open a bit weaker, which it did, and then it's just ticked up from there. Straight through 56. So we've just traded, 56 now, up 38 points. So that's going strong, actually going really strong. We'll take a look at the daily. We'll go to the CFD chart now and just take a look at what's happening. That's the 30-minute chart there. You can see we had some support down at 55.57 from overnight. Expected that the trader, which it did on the open. I'll just get rid of some of this. So it did on the open, and that's what we've spoken about before quite a few times. Generally, with the futures more than anything, the market, if it's near a support or resistance zone, it tends to wash them out quite a lot, and then it'll pick a direction and go. And it looks like it's gone from that 57 mark straight through 56. It's traded up through 56, so that's still looking quite strong. If we go to that daily, actually, we could go over to a daily, just see what it's showing us there. So you can see right up near that resistance zone. So that's the highs. That's the highs through there. It's trading up, yeah, at 50, so it's right up at 56, 17, 20, 20 to 22 actually. And that was way back in August sometime. So it's looking good. We had that big sell-off, obviously down to 50-50. It's held up, and that's the current anchor for this move up. So it'd be interesting to see if we start just kicking through there, and then we've got the current short-term anchor for this whole leg up around that 52, say 18, 15 to 18 mark, holding that up at the moment. So if we start spiking through that and then we come and wash out this zone, we may see a bit of a deeper correction, at least, and build that higher low on the daily basis to push up and through 56 again. But that could easily just keep going from here. Let's take a look at instead of looking at Aussie today, we'll look at Euro. Just kick it over to the Euro chart. Now you can see that's on its way south. Let's just go back click onto the daily, get an overall view. And it's pretty clear what's going on there. It's really tipping over, and you can see we're right down. We actually got through that major low. I think that was after Brexit. No, it's not. Sorry, a lie. That was it's had a big sell-off, and that was way back in 2014. Big sell-off. It made a base, and it's just sort of been bounced around. It's retested that again. So those lows back in end of 2015, and we've gone back up and retested those highs, but now it's just tipping over. And it looks like we've just traded through those lows at say the 104.70 mark. We're down at 104.60 thereabouts. So we're just trading through that at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if that's more of a washout. You can see the market's extended into that support as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we back up a bit. But the key level holding this move down at the moment is really just right up at 108.75. So even if it does bounce, it's got a long way to go before it can even break that downtrend. It's probably got a fair bit of action to see to play out before anything like that happens. I mean, it could just pop like that, one day, bang, because that's a similar type of price action. It's rolling over. The MAs are well and truly heading south, and it could just have one strong day and consolidate for quite a period, and then pop up from there. But that's still, either way you look at it, it's negative at the moment. If we drill it down, just go back down to the hourly chart and just see if we can refine that. We've definitely got some levels. If you trade the euro at all, there's a big level up here, which we said big level right up here, and that's what at 108, say. Big washout, and then it's been sold off since. Contracted back up and retested. So we had that test up at 106.60 a few times, and then just capitulated from there. And it looks like at the moment we might be holding another lower high around that 104.70 to 80 mark. But still, that's not confirmed really until it gets through 103.67 or that 103.70 mark. But again, a bit like the daily, that's oversold. That's getting a bit extended down at these levels. So it's 1, 2, maybe a third market may just wash out that and back and fill and head back up through that 104.70 mark, 75. Let's see how that plays out. Let's go on to gold. Has anyone got some gold positions? Is anyone trading gold lately? Get into my coffee. All right. Gold is well and truly again heading down. Let's look at the daily. Let's just go right back a bit. You see that big rollover. So this is kind of hard price structure. It's had that contraction low. It's popped up. I mean, we could easily just build a major high low here. So compared to this low down at 1050 mark, build that high low and sort of edge our way back up. But before that happens, there's a lot of work to do. Whether we sort of do this type of bit of washout, and then start building these higher lows before we potentially head high. But like I said, there's a fair bit of work to do before we get that, and that's over longer term. This is on a daily chart now. Yeah, it's just found resistance right up at one. It was at 1380, 1370, 80 mark up there, 75. So either way, it's been selling off, and that it's contracted a bit there, it fell over a bit, popped back up, and that spiked up, I think, over the elections, and then just sold off, well and truly on the back of the US dollar, um, US dollar appreciation, and we'll look at that. We'll look at that a bit later on too. We've got a US dollar ETF we've got to look at as part of our stock review. And that's that. You can see that that's looking really positive. So if that's the case and that kicks on, then this you'd see it probably still sell off, but you'd expect some sort of ease. And that's quite a strong move down, right up from what 1308, 1310 even. Say 1310 down to 1120. It's nearly a couple $100 on that. If you're holding gold, not too nice, but yeah, any of the bulls are hiding at the moment. So yeah, that's if that's going to hold up at these levels and build that major high low, we're going to expect it's going to take a lot of time. We might get some really choppy action. That trend down's it's got to break soon, but it could just have a bit of a pullback and then roll over more. But something to keep an eye on too. So not jumping into gold stocks just yet. And obviously the ones obviously based in Australia are priced in Aussie dollars. So it's a slightly different scenario. And the Aussie's actually still heading south. I think it's 70, was it 72.50 zone, thereabouts. So that's still going. Let's actually just take a quick look at it, the overall, before we continue on. How you doing, Paul? All good? It's looking a bit messy, but yeah, that's continued on from what we were speaking about yesterday. Sort of this top price action, it looks like it's still heading down, maybe just all the way down. So the next stop could be a bit of support around that 71.50. It's about 100 pips from here, so it's still got a fair bit to low. If that's just going to pull up short, pull up around that zone, it could just pull up a bit short there. Like I said, it's a bit similar to gold. It's getting a bit extended there. Alrighty, let's beautiful. Landscaping's finished just before Chrissy, so you can have Christmas at your house. The nice, freshly done garden. Oh, that's good. Alrighty, bear with me a second, guys. If you can probably hear, the daughter in the background is not happy. All right, back on. You'll still hear me? Well, let's get into it. So that Aussie could have a bit more to run. So if we're looking at gold, gold stocks, out of Australia, obviously, exporting overseas, it's not a bad move having that Aussie. So it's sort of been, the the gold drop has been abated a bit, I guess, by the weaker weaker Aussie dollar. So that's probably why I haven't seen some serious selling pressure into some of these little gold stocks. But let's jump into it now. So what we want to chat about is just stuff that we've got on the radar. Stocks that we've been looking at, and they're not necessarily set up, but they're getting in. They're more in the zone, and they're trending higher. They're looking good. There's potential, but obviously there's a few things to play out. We want to see setups. More to the point, so we want to see a few bits and pieces happen before we start looking to jump in. In the market, I mean, I know it's ticked through 5,600 is positive, but it's also stretched up there as well. So a lot of these, we'll show them in a second. We've got a few that we just keep an eye on. I mean, there's not all of them. There could be a hell of a lot more than that, but um, some that we just want to see. We want to see a few little things before, and especially the last things that set up play out before we look to jump in. But if this market is stretched, we might see them back off a bit further or retest support and things like that. So there's just a few. But anything, Paul, you want to chuck in something, feel free while we're chatting and we'll take a look at it. This is a few that are on our radar, something you can probably have a look at. Let's just get into it. This is something new, farm. We've had a look at this. Well, we have been watching it for a while. Let's just go over this stuff. It's done a fair bit of work. But the interesting, that's the daily chart. Start off at the monthly. You can see right from the left, way back in 2001, it started off with, they had that big kick up, and that's not bad price action on a monthly basis, edging higher, pushed up, took out a few of these weak lower highs, built a high low, and then had a good run up from about, was it $3 up to 17? So that over the period of a few years though, and then we had a big sell off. And you can see this was sort of the key level just at that time through, was it 2006, on that last sort of ditched effort leg higher, and then it capitulated straight through there over a couple of months, and then you built that major lower high, and then it rolled over pretty much back down to 3 where it started. Started that leg up, and but what we're seeing now is we've got over the period of say mid 2010, start of 2011, it's had some really nice price action, retested 3, pushed back up, and if that was going to go, we got back say through this minor lower high, it's just below $6. We pushed up through $6. Now if that was weak, it's just back and filled a little bit, a bit of a pullback. If that was really weak, that should have taken out those lows, but it's held a higher low around that $4 mark, and you've just held that level, but also pushed down and started contracting in price. And then we've seen, another another bit of a push lower to 4, and just starting to hold some higher lows just in here. And it's just punched off, say the beginning in 2015, just pushed up to $9, and then it's backed off down to about $6.50. So that price action itself is looking quite good. It's building a major high low, and it's retesting through that zone. If we go to a weekly, we can draw up the weekly. Might be a bit easier. And this is just why we're liking it. Just get that up there. So that's sort of that $6 mark, $3 support through here, and you can see it's quite clear. Had a lot of work down at $4 as well to build that higher low, which worked off, and it's had that leg up there, and it's contracted back, and it's tested sort of this zone, 650 a few times, and it's held that level, and that was about a year, sort of around the beginning of 2015, pushed up off there, retested it in the start of 2016, and we're working higher now, and you can see that trend is higher. Just taking out those highs around that $9 mark, just in here. You can see, so it's looking good, and we like this type of price action, that rounding type of price action. So if we're going to try to pick out a level where it could be heading to, the clear and obvious one is around that 1150 mark, whereas that lower high, and then after that you sort of got right up towards 1350 thereabouts. Now that's not bad little. I mean, if you just bought it on a weekly basis, or we'll go down to a daily. We just bought it off that basis. You can hold it, an exit if it pushes down to $8, or even that sort of uptrend may be failing, and we're maybe just back and filling a bit, building a major, and it may take a lot of time. You don't know then. So that's something it's definitely, we're drilling down to the daily just to keep an eye on a daily basis to see what's happening. It's getting a bit choppy in here, so that I don't mind. It's had that little spike higher. Well, let's actually get into a daily just to go over. Has anyone been following UFarm? Been following that there, Paul? Go back to a little tool. All right, Michael. Oh, great. Yeah, that's true. So there's a lot of, it's long enough ago to ignore. Oh, yes and no. I sort of look at it more when it's an uptrend, the market's moving into it. Let's just go back there. It's pretty clear. Yeah, say from that 9, it is long enough, but it's done so much work down here where it's brought in a lot of bias. This big flush out of any shorts, it's just really a key level where you're more going to go towards the top of it rather than just, if that makes sense. So you're more looking at these levels, so that the high there, the high here, as potentially just being, it's more of just an area where people may sell if they're sitting on some gains, if it stalls, if price struggles up there more than anything else. So I don't mind that, especially on the way back up. And it's going to probably produce a bit of problems, a few issues, but the fact it's at that big sell-off, all these people sort of got in here, pretty much you're either holding it, hoping for the best, gone all the way from up $17 to next to nothing. And then you're seeing all this beautiful price action really just dragging in buyers, then that could just trend higher. That's enough support for this to be a nice, strong and controlled move rather than start to get out of hand, just spiking higher. We'll take a look at that in a sec. So on the daily basis, I think for New Farm, I'm really just got an eye on it. So that's $6 through there. No, so it's thereabout. That's that high low we're talking about. The market's been grinding higher from there. This top price action, I think it's contracting in. So these sort of whip higher, I don't like that too much. It's open, it's straight up and then straight back down again. So there's still a bit of selling to come through, and I think we still need to see. It's popped up. You still want to see more controlled price action, maybe something like that, and then get it where it comes to a point more than anything else. All right, so that way you can easily judge your risk, but that's something that's definitely on our radar. Just to continue, so if this is a higher low on the weekly basis, we're getting that higher low hold around 840, 830. That should take us up. May just be contracting, like I said, on the daily basis before we start to get that kick up and through 970 into that zone, no 9 to 12 zone, but definitely a lot of meat in that. And that move, like we just said on the weekly basis, could be a lot of. That's done quite a bit of work over the period of a few years, and that's well and truly could be easily strong enough to take us up and through these little levels here, say 12. What's that other one, up to 14, even a retest over the longer term up to 17. We'll go over to just another one. I don't mind at all. RIA group. So that's the monthly vote. You can see that's not much to worry too much of it on that monthly down there. So that's, like we said before, glancing at that, it's pretty obvious what's happened. It's going higher. It hasn't really faltered just yet. You've had this leg up, which maybe these lows here have come under pressure a bit. Had a bit of a spike through, a bit of a wash out of that low. So really from here, but we just want to see what happens on a daily basis. So drilling down. Let's actually get that. That's not what we want. Get a bit more price action in there. All right, where are we? So that's trending high. We've got some support, a major level down here. It's spent a lot of time sort of consolidating up, tried to go up again, making new lows, retested those highs, and after that, after a double top, retest fail, which we mentioned, you start to see this move all the way back down, and it's got next level is down at support, and it's worked its way off that support, built this high low in here, a good leg up straight through, what was that, 52, this resistance level here. So if that's the case, if you're looking at it on a longer term basis, you'd be wanting to look at a potential buy sort of in this zone. It ideally would have been through here. If you're patient, you might have another go. You might have one or two goes at it, but that looked after a breakthrough this leg up, and that's contracted back, started holding some higher lows. You can see popping through those highs. That sort of set up in there, and that's taken us up right up to 66. The thing now, what we're seeing, if we can just step back a bit, this support has just been broken. I mean, but that was really, it's open down there, and it's just traded up since. So it's more of it looks to me like a big flush. So it's got a lot of work to do, and it's still holding these lower highs, and the key one's really at 54 at the moment. But this overall price structure, yeah, it's spent a lot of time through here, here to here, really just consolidated and just banging around between support and resistance in that zone. What was that, 2014 to about a year and a half before it broke out, and it's retraced back in. So you get initial pop up, a lot of work done through there. That initial pop up, it's pulled back, held a major higher low, and that's around 48 to get the next leg higher. So we're really down there now. So we need to hold these higher lows, and if we start pushing up through 50, 54, what we want to see is that's a 54 mark. It's traded once, pulled back, holding higher lows. It's done this top of price action, pushed up. At the moment, we're just here. What we'd like to see is that pop up through and then contract a bit like this overall, but on a minor scale. And then that could take us up for a new leg high out of this contraction, this pullback here. So we're getting into that stage now where it looks like this is potentially holding. I don't know if this was on the back of news or was that this is on a daily chart, whether that was actually over the elections or something like that. I'm not sure, to be honest. Haven't looked into that, but that looks to me, because of this price action, this latest price action in the last couple of weeks, more of a washout than it's going to break. But we still need to see. So before jumping in, I want to see a break of 54 to see proof that the buyers happen to push it up through 54, and then you look for that pullback, higher low to hold, and then a potential entry setup. And that could easily take us up through 265 and potentially through on another big strong leg up. Or if we get that, we get a little entry and it builds a major lower high, say somewhere around 60 or thereabouts, we still got something in the trade anyway. And if we get it wrong, it's not exactly what we expected. We still got some profits to play with there. Does that make sense on that one? So I think this one, longer term, it's sitting on the card as well, sitting in the radar, on the watch list, sorry. Let's take a look at that US dollar ETF. We've spoken about this before. It's pretty clear. And I mean, look at that price action. That's beautiful on that. This is a weekly. Sharon, we're going to take a look at ATH in a second there. So this is a US dollar ETF, and it's tradable too. So you can buy that on the ASX and have exposure to US dollars and to US dollar fluctuation. Major support through there. You can see it's just sort of banging around. It was pretty much like the other one, New Farm, I think. Held a higher low just in here and started working off. We'll make that straight so it looks a bit prettier. So you can see that. So that's nice. That type of price action is really nice. I mean, if you took a trade in there, even if just a breakout at the top and you held your risk below the support, that inside support there, that's really nice. It's popped up, held a little minor level. It's popped up, hit resistance. So it's starting to hold some higher levels, some higher lows. And then you get this consolidation over a longer period of time, obviously. I think it's about 8, 9, 10 months, thereabouts, banging around in there. And as soon as you get that pop through, if you took a trade in there, that's great. Held up against it, hit resistance and then pull back from there. Again, you've got something in the trade before you have to change your mind or you maybe get stopped out or whatever. Oh, no worries. All right, no worries. Let's look some more in VTG. We'll take a look at that, Paul, for sure. SIV I've looked at in the past before. I did like it, but I haven't looked at it for a while. So we'll have a bit of a run through on that. So this type of price action, which is leading, you can see it leading to that. It's holding high lows, and that's the key thing. What we want to see is these high lows are holding, and it's starting to lead. Although this was more of just push down, pop back up, and it's more of just a bit of a wash out of that high than anything else. I mean, that's not a beautiful thing. You can see here the difference between that and that high low. There's no real buyer stepping in. It's just pulled back and it's just turned on a dime. It's potentially that was a good little sign that it's washed out rather than the pullback and build that lower high and roll over and start attacking those lows even down to here, that support level. We've seen that hit, wash out, pull back, and then spend a lot of time, probably because of this high low here, and because it wasn't such a strong move through that previous high at this level. What was that, say 1120? This is nice, and it's very similar. And this is one, I guess, important thing, just to look at what's happened in the past in price, and you can see that type of price action is very similar to what we've seen. Just bang, 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 and then pop, off she goes, and off a higher low just in here. So if you just go back and look at price structure and how they set up and the different stocks, you can get an idea of what you could expect going forward on different stocks. So either way, that's led to a nice, strong, healthy move up. But more recently, so we've had a push up off support. That's one. Consolidation, contraction in here, holding some high lows, another healthy leg up. And we've got that washout. We've just seen that washout at high, which led to a push down through sort of a key support level or anchor level to that leg up. So if it was strong, you would have seen that we've got high low here, a leg up, high low, another leg up, another high low build. We should have, if that was a strong market, should have just kept going. More of this top price action than that washout and then push down through support. Does that make sense? But what we've seen, so now we've really gone from a leg up. We want to contract that leg. That's what we're seeing here. But the thing is, again, why I like this is it's holding, and especially now that they're going to raise. There's talk. We'll have to see how it plays out in the next year or so. Talk of raising interest rates, so that's going to put more pressure on the upside for the US dollar, and you can see that in the most recent few days. So if we just go down, we just drop it down. There's a mouse gone. So what we're looking for, this might just still be a longer term contraction, and we still might need a bit more proof that that's a higher low, it's a major higher low building for a potential another leg, higher like we're seeing there. Got one leg up, two leg up, second leg higher. If that's the base for the next leg higher, um, probably that's the key level at 1375 just at the moment on a weekly basis. If that gets attacked and back off, we might again build that, say, price structure like here. We've pushed up to the highs, built the higher low, pushed up again, retested, built a minor higher low. We might see a bit of this contraction over a period of time, and then a push up strong out of there. But still, we want to see it holding high lows. If we just get into the daily, take a bit of a squeeze at that. We're getting a bit extended where we are at the moment, so don't mind the idea of that pulling back and building, say, around 13. The last few days have been very strong, just pop, 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 straight up. So getting extended, I'd rather see that pull back, hold some minor high low, and that might take us up to test that 1370, even through that. But you can see that's good support. Had a bit of a washout, 1, 2 times, and then reacted strong off that. You see that sort of grind down, washout below, and then a strong day, a strong positive green day, just taking us back up and through. All right, so I do think this has got a lot of potential. That price structure on a weekly basis especially is looking really nice. And we were looking for maybe this type of price action before it leads us to another strong leg move, move higher. I don't think we've seen that just yet. I don't think that was it just yet. We might see it further up here, just bang, 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 and then off we go. So I think we all know we've had one rate rise, and it's happened previously where they talked it up a bit for 2016. Didn't happen. We only got one at the end of the year. They've saying 3 for next year and potentially 3 the next year after. But we'll have to see how those figures go out. But if they continue strong, inflationary, and everything Trump wants to do gets through Parliament, or not Parliament, gets through Congress and gets approved, then that's going to put more pressure, upward pressure on the US dollar anyway. That's US dollar. Probably just quickly, I noticed this today. That's not looking too bad, but again, I think what we're seeing, that trend is high on the monthly, the weekly. We had that correction lower, holding sort of a higher low, double bottom down just above 480, say 490, just pushed up through a key level, and that was at high 550, say that 550 zone through there. Just popped up through. Is it today? Yeah, really today. You can see that retested a few days ago or a couple of weeks ago, pulled back, built a high low in here, and then we just popped through it today. So that's a key move. Want to see on a longer term basis. Want to see a bit more, maybe a retest back down to 520, a bit more work put in rather than just see that strong. Because for me, if that comes strong off that base, I think it's going to get held up and it's going to struggle up around that 620. But if you come off a more longer term, there's a bit more time put into it on that base or that higher low. It's always it can start off for a stronger move rather than just pop up into resistance. Then you get that sell off that builds, or a lower high builds in here around 6, and then when that takes us back down through 490, I'd rather see a bit more action. Actually, we'll just draw that up quickly. Yeah, no, we'll do that. So what I would prefer to see on this, okay, it's come down, it's popped up, pushed down, made a double bottom, and just pushed through that key level there. If that's sustainable, for me, I just want to see a bit more. That's the two levels there. So we pushed down into it, pushed up, a retest there, and really we've just gone down and we've gone up. I want to see maybe a bit more work, maybe even something like this, because that's going to take a bit more time to build that rather than just what we see here. It's come up, pulled back, and it's gone. I don't expect that to be too strong, or it's going to find resistance. You might find a bit of profit taking. So I think that's a bit different. It's come off a bit more time. More buyers are bought into that market, and they're going to put pressure on the sellers. And that type of price action could take us up through maybe 630. Just push straight up through it. But I think this type of price action just off here is a bit weaker. There's not as many buyers pushing into it, so there might be more buyers just sitting on the sidelines waiting. Does that make sense, guys? All right. But either way, it's looking, that's just those last recent days, and you can see the MAs are still down. They haven't crossed on the daily basis, and it's starting to get a bit extended up here too. On the weekly, that's the key, I think, on the weekly, is that sort of W pattern. Um, that stronger move down. The second retest was weak. You can see it, and then it's starting to pop up from there. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here, but that's on the radar as well. I think it's one to keep an eye on. BAP. All right. And then the last one we'll quickly go over because we've actually got this as an alert. Um, that's CIMIC Group. It's done 4 million at the moment. That type of price action, you can see it spent a lot of time doing not much, and then bang, off she goes up through $60 and a big sell off, a major lower high. The thing is, the difference is it hasn't taken out this low here. It's really just tested it, retested it, and spent a lot of time, lower highs into it, but still buyers were happy to step in around that 15 mark. And then they're happy to step in a bit higher, say around 18 to $20. And it's just been chopping in around there for probably a good part of a year. And then we, popped out, took out some of these lower highs, push up through, pull back, built a higher low, and you can see the MAs are starting to cross. And then we've got a good, that's on a monthly basis, um, a strong move higher. And it's taken up into that, back to the monthly, into this zone around that 40. That's a good strong move up. Then we had a good strong sell off, but again, it was holding that 27 and just holding those high lows. And if you go into a daily, this is a kind of gap down here, push back up, sort of nearly closed that gap. Went to retest it, but you can see buyers were happy to step in at a bit higher prices, especially after this move up. So the overall, even though this looks a bit strange, that sort of curling over and then capitulated a bit, and then what we've seen is spent quite a bit of time holding higher lows. Some buyers are stepping up. Some lower highs were just broken. Minor higher lows again. MAs are crossed up. Higher lows, just pushed up through this minor high at say just below 31. And you can see that is quite a bit higher. It wasn't a deep correction, so it held up near that break, and we're just starting to kick on with it now. 33.50. So it just touched up through 34 today. And it's getting, so that's a bit of a washout of this little lower high, I guess you can call it. Even though it didn't do much, it's pretty much pushed up and then opened, bang, straight down. It's pushed back up through 34, so it's washing out that level, so it's washing out that key, and that may just, pull back, build a high low, and go again. But that overall weekly structure looks quite nice. So I'm expecting that accelerated move just to start stepping up through up to towards 40, and we'll have to see how it plays out. We'll have to see whether we have a good deeper correction and build a nice little base around 32. Spend a bit of time doing that because it is getting a bit extended. If we do spend a bit of time doing that, rather than just this down straight back up, reaction, that reaction type of thing, we want to speed a bit of work done like that, where buyers, you can see evidence of buyers stepping in. All right. Anyway, that's looking good on the longer term too. What else we got? And of course, just click through the banks. That nice rounding price action through here. This is on Westpac. CBAs. Is this a weekly? Yeah, weekly. Very similar. We had that washout of 70, and then it's holding, and it's just it's just really pushed up strong, straight through 80 on that. So it's taken out these little minor lower highs as that support's held at 70. It was around 78, say 79, up through there. Again, it is a bit extended up here. And the next key level is sort of above that 85, it was 86 zone, this sort of lower high in here. If we might find a bit of resistance up there, I mean, that's of course if we go, it's only a couple of dollars away really. If we get up there, we might react off that level or wash it out, but then I would expect some sort of higher low to build, maybe even pull back to retest down at 80, build that higher low, and then go after that. But still, that's not looking too bad, that price action there. On a monthly basis, come off some quite an oversold type of situation, but that's held up. Let's just go, what's NAB showing? Yeah, same sort of thing. Held those lows at 24, built that higher low around that 26 mark, even after a bit of a washout. And the current leg up's just taken us through some lower highs, some of these little levels in through here, up into that zone there around $30.50. So it may find a bit, it might react off there, or it may just punch straight through up towards that 33 mark. See how that plays out in ANZ. So all very, very much similar. Oh, that's a bit different. It's more just straight down. It's just, you know, had a good solid leg up without too much work put in down here. But yeah, I do like, I prefer, say, CBA and Westpac on the two of those. To trade it. CBA, yeah, if I just drew it, just looking at the weekly more than anything, it's probably a lot clearer on the weekly. What I'd like to see, you would draw it up here, or what I prefer to see anyway, is to go off that, because really what I'm waiting for is more confirmation, and confirmation comes in the form of high lows. So we've got that support, and we've really just, you know, pushed up until, say, here. Nothing's confirmed. That could be a lower high. That could take us, you know, straight down through support, and then we keep working our way down, especially where we were, you know, getting up into the overbought type of territory. But the fact that that's from here punched straight up, and for me, if I was trading on a weekly basis, and maybe a daily, I haven't really seen any clear setup for me anyway. So what I'm looking for now, what I would like to see, even prior to getting up to say 85, that resistance zone, yeah, Paul, I'd like to see it. You know, we had that strong leg up. If we draw that, so that's our base through here. That's through here. That's that touchdown there. We've had that leg up through there, and say that level is that 79 resistance. What I'd want to see is more, even if it just corrects that way, and I want to see evidence of some, you know, a good little pullback, a correction of that leg up, just a minor correction, whether it retests this 79 zone or even just washes it out and then starting to hold some higher lows. That's what I'm always wanting to see off the basis that we've got that leg up, it's corrected. So I want to go from that's correction, so that's contraction. You know, we say go from contraction to expansion. That's ideally what we're always looking for. So the idea behind, yeah, that sort of philosophy, contraction into expansion, is say that it's expanded higher for the first leg, contracting. So we're looking at expansion for the second leg, which ideally could be that type of move there. So if you're getting in nice and early and you're seeing evidence of a higher low holding, you want to take advantage of a potential another strong leg higher. And say that's your leg up there. I don't know where that's going to turn, but if that just starts rolling over, contracts back, and we start seeing evidence, we don't want to just jump in when it pulls back because it could just keep going down and wash you out. You want to see high lows hold. So high lows are sort of, you know, if they don't hold, then that may not be even contraction. It may just be rolling over a longer time frame. All right, on a monthly, I mean, if we go back, that's probably, so who's to say that's not going to hold, you know, like this and then just go straight down, capitulate through 70 and retest right back down to 60. So that's why I never like to just jump in and sit on the bid as such, you know, just buy limit. I'd rather see some sort of price action showing me that I'm not the only one seeing this. I want to see evidence that other buyers are starting to step in. The selling is getting weaker, the buy is getting stronger, and that's what you're seeing. And this is in context to overall price structure. I'm expecting a higher low to be building here. once I see that price action, and then I've got my setup, and then I go. But that's the overall price action I want to see. Does that make sense? So we don't know from here. It could do the similar type of thing, go and then start building for another leg up. That's 1, 2, 3, contraction, expansion, contraction into expansion. Does that make sense there, Paul? So that's pretty much what I'll be looking for on CBA. That's great. Yeah, it could be, and that's probably why I wouldn't be jumping in now. That's a good level. I mean, if you get into a daily, there might have been something on a daily where I would have been happy to enter. That's held a few times, but yeah, see, there's nothing too much for me. But that's a great little trade either way there, Paul. Yeah, also, I think you're right. We're starting to get a bit extended there. It's not just on the daily basis; it's on the weekly. Um, Again, nothing to say that can't just keep going. I mean, like I said, things can stay overbought for a while, or they could just do this type of. If you can see that, yeah, you can oscillate up there near over and just keep ticking higher, ticking higher, ticking higher. There's nothing to say it can't do that. Just keep pushing higher, oscillated around 80%. So people are saying it's overbought, but it just keeps dragging more and more and more people in. So just see how it goes. Just take it day by day basis, I guess, and just see what happens. Anyone want to look at? I know we've got Paul. You just put in. Is it VTG? Yep, Civ. Silver Chef, is it? All right. That's quite a strong leg. That's quite a strong move down. So you can see this is, on a weekly basis, very similar to this. So depending on what sort of outlook you have, whether you're expecting another strong leg higher like this, but that's over quite a few years, or you're just trying to take advantage of these little pops higher off a daily chart, um, that's quite a strong move down. Now it is coming to a zone where, say, what's that, 750 to 8 into that zone there, where it may hold up, but then again, it may not. So if you just sit on the bid there, it could blow straight through and then it could pull back and retest all the way down, even down to $6. So again, it's getting extended down there. So there's a few things working in its favour, from my opinion. Um, Glancing at that trend, the good thing is on the weekly basis, you had that move. Well, we'll draw that. It's going up. Yeah, $8. That's true. Let's just quickly draw that up. So what we're seeing, or what I'm seeing anyway, yeah, it's pretty clear. Contraction back, another extension higher or expansion higher, contracted back, held that level. But then it's been a bit more mild rather than this type of price action, just getting a bit out of hand. It's been more controlled pullback. So this is all just one leg high. Really, that's one leg high. But viewing it in that respect, it's, I guess this is if you break that one leg up there, if that is the case, and that is just one leg higher, if you break it down, we've got leg up, pull back, high, low, leg up, pull back. It's washed through these highs, pop through, but it's only retesting. So really, this is a key level down here. It's just holding at the moment, and then you've had that good little push up, pull back, pop through the new highs. So this leg down is just washed out that, say, 950 mark, and it is coming down to $8. So whether this is enough contraction of this overall leg higher, and it does hold up above 8, or it's going to pop up, roll over more, we don't know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is nice. It's a nice little zone here. So there's got a fair few things working for it. I mean, that trend on the weekly is obviously higher. It's come into a zone where it could find support. So the last thing really for me to look at, to minimize that, is drop it down to a daily and just look at the price action here on the daily to see if we're, for me, if I'm getting that price action, if I'm getting that setup. Can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear that, Paul, still? Is that clear? Everyone hear me? Or just speaking strange. Yep, I'm guessing so. Um, yeah, so what we're looking for, oh, okay, all right, that's good. So what we're really looking for, we know the weekly's up, that's in our favor. It's had a good correction. Okay, we've got that second part of the puzzle, I guess. You don't want to just buy it on the highs and just hopefully it goes up because you get caught when it does correct and you could be sitting behind. You don't know how long it's going to take to correct, how much time you're going to sit there wasting your money in a position doing nothing. Um, so you want to just really take advantage of if it's going to pop up off $8 and hold eight. I want to see evidence of higher lows. Say a bit, it's contracted down here. It's just taken out this high. It's pulled back, but that's a good little. That's your sort of your first sign that things are starting to break, and we're starting to see buyers step in. Got a nice strong move up there. Bit different here. Let's roll over, retested that low, just open up, gone strong. So it's spent a lot of time through here. We'll just draw that actually, make it a bit clearer. So that's what we want to see. Why does it give me that over there? There we go. So that support's retested, breaking out this little high, and then you've held a high low in here. And we've got this leg up. Spent a lot of time working in there, roll over, retested down through to support. It's popped up through that. I mean, that's a bit unclearer through here. It's a bit harder to trade, especially with that move up. It's gapped higher through that most recent high, held up here, and then built a little base. So this price action is nicer to trade. You could have traded in here with a little break, and as it's heading higher, bought into there. You've under a bit of pressure, but then you've got this leg higher. That's obviously that would have taken a few people out there. You've had another leg up here. Whoops, another leg up there. We really just capitulated all the way back down to sort of that support level. So I think it's got a lot of work to do still before I'd be happy to jump in. I mean, say you take it two different scenarios. $8, it's come all the way down to just above eight. It's just popping up now. There's no clear anchor apart from right up at 10.20. And that's not even that clear. This type of price action is quite hard to trade. Yeah, sorry, Paul, just reading you there. This type of price action is a bit harder to trade when it gaps down. It's a good strong move up off that, and it's found the resistance at 10.20. So you'd say that's sort of your key level where, that's quite a long way off as well. Just want to draw this up a bit better. Gap down, popped up, pushed down. So at the moment we're just doing this top price action. That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's your key level holding it down. So really from here, if it was gonna, there's the two scenarios. If you bought it, if you just jumped in here, that's still holding the leg down. It could pop up and bang, head straight down through again. Or we might pop up. I'd want to see evidence. This high lows start to hold. That to me is evidence. There's no evidence just yet. All right, that support level at $8 is going to hold. I'd rather see this top price action, even a pullback, and then some higher lows holding again. Then you might get a nice strong move higher. So I just want to see evidence of these higher lows holding through here, potentially a bit higher through there. Does that make sense? $9.60 here. So when you're talking about there, 9.60 to 10. That zone in there, is that what you're talking about there, Paul? It just popped up there. Yeah, okay. So if it's off this low here, to me, once it's gone through, if you're buying it in this level here, technically you should have been out as soon as it broke through that support through 960. So that sort of negates that level there, if that makes sense, because it's just blown straight through. So really the key level for me is down sort of this zone here. It could pop up and retest it and then roll over from there. Um, yeah, look, there's been a fair bit of work there, but how do I explain it? Just trying to explain it a bit better. So The idea behind each, I guess, each level is just the psychology behind it. If you're holding it, so each person's people are bought it at different levels. So if you're buying it in here, the most obvious place to have an exit, if you get it wrong, is just below here. So if you bought it up here, is say here. So they've got that leg up now. If they've, well, that's probably not the best example. If it turns around and rolls back down through that level and washes that out, it sort of clears that level out. So it doesn't become as important. It's more of just a target zone now for me. I don't think there's too much psychology at this level just at the moment. It's done a bit of work through there, so it's more of a target zone, if that makes sense. Where if this moves up, where's the most obvious target? It's probably going to be through there, like you said, through that 960 to 10 zone. It's done a bit of work there previously, but I don't think anyone's really, I can't see anything where you'd be holding a stop in there, which you know that it's going to get targeted. So whereas when the market's moving up or even down, this is sort of your key level. It's pulled back down. So anyone buying it in here, it's probably going to have their stop in here. Anyone that's bought it in here as it's moved up, it's probably going to have their stop in here on a longer term basis. As it's moving higher, they might move it. But coming off that level, as it's moving its way higher, say at this point here, you might move your stop higher. So these sort of minor levels become key um, because you know that there's probably going to be some action around there um, if it does roll over. So if we roll over from here and we start getting this type of price action, anyone that's bought in here is going to be getting a bit nervous. Does that make sense there? And if we do happen to wash that level out, that sort of flushes those trades. So anyone that's was sort of holding a long position may have been flushed out. If you're not, who knows where you stop? It could be all the way back down at this below 780. But at that point, and then we may lift off there. You don't know what's going to happen after that. But that's where it's when you get that reaction through and you're seeing what the reaction is, it sort of washes out. It's not as much of a key level anymore. Because we've seen what's happened. Anyone that's holding stops there or wanting to buy it off there, that's happened. So really now it's just more of a okay trading up into that level. It's more of a target zone, I guess you can call it. So if we're going to work our way up from here, yeah, what's going to happen? So we want to see if we bought it down here for whatever reason, it's worked our way up to 960. We want to see what type of reaction is going to happen up there. If there's going to be no reaction, great, because we know at the moment there's probably not too many stops around that zone. For whatever reason, there might be some shorts that have pushed it down here, might be holding a buy stop in here. So that's why we sort of expect that 1020 to be a level and so on. Up here, you need to be a reaction. Even if people just buy, and if it gets through there, they want to buy and stop, but there's going to be some action at that level. All right. Does that make sense there? Let's get on to ORG. Just finally. Let's draw this up. This looks interesting. Just going back. On a monthly basis, we'll draw this right up. We've had a big push up through. That level held is 15 bucks. And at that stage, this, we're testing up. This is more of a key level around 11. It's pushed all the way back down, just sort of washed out. Well, even just, it was probably spot on. That might have been spot on those lows. 10.50, 11. It's pushed back up, made that lower high around here. If you can see that, that's a weekly chart. That's a monthly chart. So it's made that lower high, and then we've got that deeper correction off that $15 zone. So after that push up, it just couldn't get through 15. It's tried from here, more buyers. It's held a lower high, and we got after those lower high. That's your shoulder trade. You expect a deeper correction, washing out that just to get more of a better area where buyers are happy to step in. Now they've pushed it up, but on the monthly basis, we've made a lower high at 14, and then we can see what's happened from there. Just capitulated. So on a monthly basis, this trend, this sell-off is not finished in my book. But the fact is that we come right down towards these lows. We're at such a low level. We've had a big push up, struggled at 15, had a correction, tried to push back up towards 15, failed around 14, had a big sell-off, and we've come all the way back down to 350. So that's this, especially this leg, is just capitulation. So a lot of these long positions have been washed out. You're starting to see some reaction up here, a little minor high-low hold around 455. And that's taken us through 6. So on that basis, whether this is just going to be contracting higher, because your key level on a monthly basis is way up at 11.15. Right, so if we break that down to a weekly, I'm just going to remember what I said now. 3, it's way up here. So just this leg down, we're contracting that leg down. We may roll over, may retest sort of towards that $5 zone again. But that's just your early buyers stepping into me. Okay, just get some early buyers jumping in there. Has spent a lot of time though. That's what I do like about it. And you can see if you go back to the weekly, if this is contraction, even if it is just contraction higher, then we roll over again and come right back down and test 5, this could still be a lot of fat because it's come, your key level's right up towards 11.50, 12. All right, so just correcting this leg could give you a nice little trade, even if it's back up to $9. It's, was it $2.50 from here, as long as you can justify your stop in there. This is the only thing I sort of don't like on that. It's pushed down, it's just bounced straight back off, 350 without retesting. It's just built some minor high lows. For me, that's more contracted than I think it needs to retest down towards here and double bottom or whatever you need it, whatever you want to say, just to bring in some more buyers and to strengthen that level up, really, to confirm that level, to confirm that buyers are happy to step in. Let's draw this one up here. What I do like, so that's at 350 mark. You've had that reaction up. So this leg down is starting to fail. You've got these little levels. Excuse me. The last little level of this leg down has just been broken. So we expect this level, we're going to see some contraction of that leg down from way up at $12. And we're seeing that. So we've had that push down. But the good thing was, and I think the difference is you've had a lot of price action in here and it's just struggled to get higher. It's had to pull back and retest into 475. So on a daily basis, to me, that's what looks good. And then you started building off 475. So really, that 475 zone is good. It's quite a strong level. You built that high low just in here at $5, and we're starting to lift, and that's enough to take us through $6. So from here, we've got one leg up, 2 legs. We're maybe in the midst of contracting now. We don't know. There's probably not enough data just there. But what I wouldn't mind seeing is more of a retest at $6. So we've had that leg higher. We're starting to get that. I'd rather see that top of price action. That's say 6. And then from there, if you start getting some evidence of higher lows build, even a retest, and then go. So we're looking for this top price action. If we get some higher lows build above 6, then I think that could be nice little, some good evidence that we get that third leg higher in this this move. That third leg could take us. I mean, who knows? There's no real resistance after that, so that's the beauty of it. We might see. I just want to see a bit of price action down here, because that's heading. The last few days has been heading south. I want to see evidence of some buyers stepping in on a daily basis, around 6 maybe. It may be a bit lower, who knows? But I just want to see those higher lows build. Does that make sense there, Sharon? Which could lead to another, good leg higher. So what's this one? $5 up to 7, so about a couple of bucks. So if it goes from 6, we could be looking up towards 8. But then again, there's no real clear level of this move down. Let's just see on a weekly. Yeah, I mean, that could even just project us straight up to 9. But again, there's no, like I said, no key levels. This is what it comes down to. The difference between 9 as a level, it's really just a line. It's not a psychological area. There's not going to be any real reaction. It could go through, it could go, but there's no one's going to get stopped out of a position there. There's probably no reason if it just heads up to there why you'd want to jump in. There's no setup, so there's nothing. There's no sort of swing level or anything like that. It's just really touched down there once, through 9 here, pushed up, retouched 9 again, held up, built that lower high, and then sold off through it back in mid 2015. So if we go up there, it's just where we've seen some action, but there's no stops to get triggered there, if that makes sense. But still, there's a lot of fat in that trade if that's the case. If it sort of holds up above 6, retest it, evidence of buyers, and then off she goes. All right. anything else quickly, guys, just before it's been just over a touch over an hour now. So uh, I think we'll call it a day there. If there's nothing else, we will call it a day. And thank you very much for joining us. Now, like I said, we'll be back on about the 3rd of Jan or 4th of Jan, but you'll see alerts starting to pop up again. We'll give you a bit of a heads up, not just an hour prior to the stream. We'll give you a heads up maybe a day before or so. So we're going to come on tomorrow at the same time just so they get started. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy your Christmas and your New Year. If you're going to have a break, enjoy yourself and be safe. Um, yeah, yeah, have a great Christmas there, Paul. All good talking to you guys. It's been great fun. And we'll hopefully we continue this and build this little community up into the 2017. And so if we can kick on NXT, all right, we'll get over. Actually, that might have been the one just before we finish. We'll click on that one. Sorry, sorry there, Michael. There's a bit of a delay, so just glancing at that, it's coming off sort of that $2.80. It's projected higher through 260. It's held those, some high lows through here. If we just draw that up, so we'll do this one quickly there for you, Paul, Michael. This is the move down, which you see these steep moves down. I expect more price action. I expect to see a lower high build. I mean, if that lower high, it could be here. I don't know where that's going to take us, whether it just comes back down and retest 3. But after a strong move up, sorry, we've had that move up there. After this type of price action, it's done. Well, that's just looks a bit messy actually. After this type of price action, which is through here, it's had that good leg up, and then it just pretty much is an equal move lower. You want to see, it's reacted higher. I think that the steepness of that, you want to see that generally leads to a lower high. Now, whether that takes us back down to retest that zone or we go lower and then we start lifting off here, but you want to see price contract. I think that's going to take a bit of time. This is the weekly basis anyway. Sorry, Paul, I just read your comment. But in respect to that, that last couple of weeks high, it's come off quite strong off 290, but that's probably more of a reaction to the strength in selling as well. So I would like to see a bit of contraction in price there, and then maybe some high lows starting to hold and starting to lift us up, maybe a retest, a few more high lows, then that could lead us to another strong leg higher. But I think that's going to take a bit of time. We just go down to a daily, and you can see, look at that move down. That was quite solid. And then that reaction is getting a bit extended up here as well. I expect that to tip over sooner or later. So from there, it's just the question is whether it's going to go down and retest 3. Is it going to take us, that move up there is going to take us through 280? We don't know. In essence, looking at that daily, if you can just drill it down, see that stairs, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. We've got this minor, it's a very minor high low just in here. It's just taken us up through a key level around that 335 mark, that lower high. It's taken us up through there. So I think the price action we want to see, you can get that there. See that? That's your key level there. It's washed out that low. It's really just a minor level, but that's popped up quite strong, whether it's on the back of news. I'd want to see maybe a pullback into there and build a major high low. And it's there. Does that make sense? So you want to see that more major high low build, and it could be in here, and that will take some time. That way you'll find the MAs will start contracting. We'll probably be in a better zone. More evidence of buyers stepping in. That could take us back up and through. Then we'll start to target that 440 to 450 highs again. Okay, are you short or long there, Michael? Oh, so you've probably got that last leg up. Okay, but yeah, if you got in here roughly off 3, that's a good little push higher. It's just it's not coming off a good base at all. So I'd expect maybe another sharp. It could be a sharp move down. Who knows? It's all it's got to play out. Anyway, in response to your question there, Paul, yeah, I sold it. We sold it on Saturday. Went to auction. It was a good result. Could have been a little bit better, but that's the way it plays out. We're happy just to get out of it coming into Christmas. Put the money in the bank, and then we'll start looking at the house for the family. Geez, you got that, didn't you? A few months. Oh, okay. It was way back in here, was it? Yeah, that's great there, Paul. We're happy about that. Quite happy. So we'll take settlement, put it in, and we'll just start looking around into the new year. Got to get that finance approved first. So that's the next step. Get in, see what we can do, see what we can borrow, and then see what we're looking at. Get a bigger house. That's the main thing. Oh, way back here. Yeah, but if you wrote that down there, yeah, it's a tough one. And if you get it, there's nothing to say. I'll just be holding it now just to see what happens. You don't know if it just keeps. It could be a strong reaction higher, even a double top. You don't know what's going to happen. That's the thing. That reaction lower, it's quite a strong reaction really off those lows at 280. But yeah, I do expect because that's extended. The market overall was heading south. I still do expect. I think this leg down is over, but we don't. Doesn't mean you go from the market's heading south to heading straight back up again. They generally go into contraction or consolidation of some sort. So I expect to see a bit more consolidation before I'll be, um, more positive on that on a good leg higher. All right, let's call it quits there, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been great. And like I said before, we'll be back on about the third, but you'll get prior warning too when we're jumping back on. And then we'll get into it next year. Hoping to see what happens over this quiet period, whether the market could just kick up. So just keep an eye on it. It'd be interesting to see what price action we get over the next week or two through that period. Generally, it's quieter, but sometimes in those quiet times, the market could move stronger, just because there's no one around. There's not as much resistance anyway. So we'll see what plays out. The Dow's just about to crack that 20,000 mark anyway, so I think that'll probably end up happening tonight. But thanks for joining us, guys. It's been great. We'll speak to you next year. Have a great Christmas. Cheers. Bye.